The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus heard of the death of John the Baptist, he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. The crowds followed him. The crowds heard of this and followed him on foot from their towns. When he disembarked and saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, and he cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples approached him and said, "This is a deserted place, and it is already late. Dismiss the crowd so that they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." He said to them, "There is no need for them to go away. Give them some food yourselves." But they said to him, 5 loaves and 2 fish are all we have here." Then he said, "Bring them here to me." And he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he said the blessing, broke the bread, and gave them to the disciples, who in turn gave them to the crowds. They all ate and were satisfied. Then they picked up the fragments left over, 12 wicker baskets full. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, not counting women and children. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so our Lord, it's fun. I mean, just to put us in his shoes. And here we have like the death of his cousin, John the Baptist, And so he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. Like that just had to be a pretty heavy blow for our Lord. Just to have compassion on on John the Baptist, whose life was taken, but then also to lose a relative, and then also to know what that signifies, that his day is coming too. So anyway, he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. And we know the rest of the story. The crowds followed him, and he rose up and served them. But still, that same disposition of withdrawing to a deserted place to pray, to encounter the Lord, to be recollected, process things, and then enter back into it. It's just a pretty healing dynamic. For whatever the situation is, recenters us, reorients us in our heart that God is our Father. He takes care of us. Nothing happens outside of his will. So anyway, I think we can follow our Lord's example. Whatever the situation is, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever, withdrawing to a deserted place, going into prayer, encountering the Lord as our Father, is always a way of just staying at peace in this crazy world.